Hey guys. Okay, so in last week's video, we talked all about zoning. More specifically, we talked about how to find out what zone a particular property is and what the planning scheme supports within each one of those zones, so that you can get an idea or a feel for what an area might actually look like in the future, so that you can make a more informed decision before you purchase a property or before you pump a bucket load of money into a potential renovation. Well, that's kind of crystal ball stuff. That's future use problem. Today, we're going to bring it back to the here and the now, and we're going to talk about how to find out what approvals have actually been issued in an area and why it is so important, or why you might want to know whether there is an impending construction site right next door to you. So if that sounds like it's something that interests you, stick around. Okay, so let's just jump straight in. Let's start with the how. How do you actually access this information? Well, quite simply, you want to use a website that's called Brisbane City Council PD Online, which stands for Property and Development Online. Now, we recorded a video towards the start of last year, I think it was, on how to access and use this program. So rather than sitting here and going to all of that information again, what I'm going to do is simply include a link below in the comments, which actually takes you to that video. So go check it out, have a play around. Once you're actually inside that program, what you need to do is search not only for the street that you are looking to purchase in, but also the street behind the street that you are looking to purchase in. So you capture the properties on either side, the properties in front, and also the properties to the rear. Now, when you actually search those two streets, what will come up is a list of all the town planning applications that have been lodged with Brisbane City Council since January 2004. So what's that, like 15 years now? I remember when that system first came in. It was the newest and greatest thing since sliced bread. Yes, I'm showing my age right now. Now Council's actually talking about revamping the system. Shows you how old it is, right? Anyway, go in there. Like I said, it'll bring up a list of all the various different applications, assuming some applications have been lodged. If you get no results, then the answer is quite simple. There is no approvals in that surrounding area. If the results come up, what you need to do is click on each one individually. Now, the first thing you want to look at is the date. So the date the approval was actually issued. Because if the approval was issued, let's say 10 years ago, then chances are that it's already either been acted upon or they've decided not to go ahead with the project. So they couldn't get the funding, their personal situation changed for whatever reason. However, if the approval was issued in, let's say, the last 3 months, there's obviously a greater chance that that application will be acted upon. So look at the date, like I said. The next thing you want to do is go through all of the hyperlinked documents and look for what's called the approved plans, or it should be named something like that. It's usually towards the top of the list. Don't worry about the plans down the bottom. So we as town planners always lodge a set of application, or a set of plans, I should say, and then there's a bit of negotiation, argy-bargy, that goes on with council to revise those plans, and what pops out at the end is the final set, the approved set, which is agreed to both by us as the applicant and by council. So that's the set that you're interested in. Now, when you go into the plans, there should usually be a set of existing plans and proposed plans. So existing site plan, proposed site plan, existing floor plans, proposed floor plans, existing elevations, proposed elevations. You get the idea. What you need to do is play a game called Spot the Difference. Go back to your childhood. So you get the existing site plans and compare the before and the after and see what has changed between the two. And that will show you what is actually being proposed or approved. That will give you an idea of what's actually going to go ahead, or should go ahead, I should say. So, like I said, check the date out, check what's actually been approved, or what sites around you have jobs and therefore what's been approved on them. Now that you have the how, the next question is why? Why on earth do you want this information? Let's be real. No one really wants a construction site popping up next door to them. They're notorious for having noise issues, dust issues, parking or traffic issues. You know what I'm talking about here. However, if you're going to have a heightened sensitivity to those issues in the immediate future, so let's say you're about to pop your preggers and you're about to have your baby, or let's say you've just started a new shift work job and you're going to really struggle to adjust to sleeping during the day, then you might want to know what's going to happen around you, around the property that you're going to be purchasing within the immediate future, so the next 3 months or so. Obviously, looking up those applications is going to give you an indication as to what could go on around you. The flip side, so obviously that's focusing more on the negative, the reasons why you'd want to avoid construction sites. The flip side, the positive side, is you could actually use that as a bargaining tool. So you could turn around and go to the agent, so, there's like 2-story units popping up next door. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of noise, a lot of dust, a lot of headaches. Yeah, no one wants that. I want 100 grand off the price. Okay, exaggerating slightly. You're not going to get that much off the price. But hey, it gives you something to bargain with. The other thing is, obviously, if you go into a street that's more run down, it's in need of some love, and you look up PD online and you see that every second house in that street, again, exaggeration, but you get where I'm going here, every single house in the street has a recent approval over it, you might sit there and go, I'm sooner going to be the worst house in the best street. This is going to work for me. And it might make you want to actually buy that property or invest in that area. So the why, well, there's pros and cons. There's good reasons, negative reasons, both different reasons. You get what I'm trying to say here. Now, I do need to put out a disclaimer here. This, obviously, like I keep saying, recorded the information for the last 15 years. That gives you an indication of what's going to go ahead. It does not tell you whether someone is going to lodge an application right next door tomorrow. So someone could literally come in and lodge that application from the very next day. So yes, it doesn't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but obviously if someone next door has already lodged an application, there is a greater chance of that actually going ahead than if someone hasn't even got to the point of lodging an application yet. So I think that covers everything I wanted to talk about. We've covered off how to access the information. Like I said, I'll include a video below that has a link to the system, how to use it, all that sort of stuff. How you basically check the date. Well, first you need to work out what applications have been lodged. Then you go into them and you see what date it was approved and what the plans look like. So therefore what's actually been proposed. The why, there's positives and negatives. You obviously don't want to be next to a construction site, but at the same time it could be a bargaining chip and it could actually increase the values within a street. So they're things you need to keep in mind. If you've enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to go back and look at our other videos. We've been recording videos for over a year now. That's a lot of videos. So there's a lot there for you guys to catch up on. Until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.